Hello fellow modelers and styling fanatics, welcome back to my channel. I hope that everyone is doing fine and enjoys the hobby. Concrete Bunker is back for another one of its notorious episodes. And oh boy, what I have for you guys today. So today we have the final reveal of our body build with me and Ozzy, of our Panzer Kpfw from border models in 1 to 35th scale and kit number BT-005. So before we jump onto the final parts of the dial, I wanna talk about a few stuff. First of all, I wanna thank my friends Michael, Rob, Greg, Sin, Kenny, and a bunch of other guys for helping me moving forward. What I mean by saying moving forward, I mean helping me reach the next stage in my modeling career, helping me see stuff with another eye, from a fresh perspective, from a different perspective, and through their guidance and ideas and builds, I have moved forward and challenged myself to create something. I want to challenge myself to create something even better and better. Sorry guys, that was my cat doing random stuff in the background. So thank you guys, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your time, your answers to my questions, and the inspiration you provide me. Now let's cut straight to the chase, and you guys know the drill already. Grab a seat, make yourselves comfortable, crack the mandatory cold one, because I think that this is going to be a long episode, and let's see what me and past George did to finalize the Panzer Kpfw project. So guys, welcome to the adventure of part 9 of body build with Ozzy, which is none other than the Panzer diorama. And what you see in front of you is the diorama almost as I left it on the previous episode, and I'm saying almost because I have just smeared some light and dark mud over here in the road, so I can have different shades of mud showing through. Even though I'm gonna applying this, something is gonna show through, so might as well we have different and random mud colors onto the diorama, because nature is unpredictable and we can see all different shades of ground and dirt onto a pile of mud, onto a pile of ground, if you can call it like that. So what my next course of action will be? My next course of action will be to paint the stone slab wall, because I want to paint it first. And what's the reason why I want to paint it first is that I'm gonna go all down with the gray colors, and then I want to smear some mud over here at the edge. So might as well lay down the colors and then smear the mud. So what we're gonna do now, you may ask. Of course I'm gonna remove this as always, so we can have a better look and we can have freedom of movement. I'm gonna paint the stone wall slab with different colors, with different shades of gray, because as I've said, nothing is uniform. And I'm going to add mud over here. I am going to finalize the groundwork only on this part. Over here I'm gonna do it later. I'm gonna do it as we proceed, because over here we're gonna add foliage. we're gonna add foliage over here as well, but I wanna lay the ground here because I have no clear plan where the mud road is gonna stop. Where the mud road is gonna stop, so I can add the foliage. I know that it's going to be on an edge over here, but I haven't decided the size of the foliage. The size, how much of a part of land is gonna have grass, etc. Anyway, I hope that this made sense. Let's proceed with my plan. Well guys, time for our next part of this video, and as you can see in front of you, we have made quite a progress. One thing led to another. I was, of course, testing stuff, trying. I had so many new products to try over here, so I was doing one thing at a time, and I was also experimenting with. That's why I haven't made an in-between video update. So let's talk about what I have done on the base. Break the whole thing into pieces, and so I can explain you better. So let's start from the wall. I don't know, I think you can catch a good glimpse of it. Over here I have layered multiple grays that I had in hand. Let me grab some. They are all from Vallejo acrylics because that's the paint range I use, mainly because I find that it's a paint that I can easily use with my paint brushes. So one of them is neutral gray 7992 from Model Color. The other one is Model Air dark gray 71.123. I have also used light mud because random color patterns. 315, one of the experiments I have done, one of the safest experiments, to be honest with you guys. I have also used another color. I have used light rubber 305 because it was a nice gray to my eyes. So I have used all these different colors, and then I toned the whole thing down with a dark brown wash with oil paints. This one was homemade. A dark brown wash, as I've said, dark black wash, and in strategic positions I used a dark green one, but I didn't get the desired effect from the dark green one, so I'm gonna use that again. I wanna use dark green because I wanna depict moss onto the stone slab wall, because if you have ever seen a stone slab wall or a stone wall in general, it has some mossy points. It has some points that they have moss onto them, mainly because of water running in those spots and being stationary for many reasons. Anyway, that's the thing that I have done on the wall. This wall is the same on the other side, but I'm not gonna flip the whole thing so you can see. You got to take my word for it. So as the moment I have finished with the wall, I have started layering down mud over here in the whole base. So what I have used for mud, as I've said in my previous episode, I have used this one. Still has a lot of it, a lot's left inside the jar. So I'm gonna try to maintain it until the next diorama because I want to finish it. I have also used my signature garden soil in spots. I didn't go overboard with this because this one is a lighter color now that it is dry, as you can see, and I'm not doing a dry scene. And that was it for the groundwork. Some spots have also, sorry, I forgot. Let me see if I can find it. Some spots have my signature coffee recipe, dried up coffee beans, grounded coffee, sorry, and just a few spots here or there, just to differentiate the groundwork and give it another hue, an additional hue of color. So, apart that, I have also sprinkled our friend kitty litter, and I have also sprinkled small clumps of sea grass balls over here, mainly in the middle. And I'm gonna explain you why when we are going to reach the topic of the foliage. So, same treatment has been done over here, with the addition that this part took a lot more Vallejo architecture, because I needed to close the gaps between the foam and the cardboard, because I wanted it to be in the edge, give it a more proper look, a more tidy look. And after that, while the whole thing was drying, I have started adding foliage. I have started from this corner, because this one is the most busy corner. And over here I used this product. This one is from Noch, is the thing we use to replicate bushes. It is a really interesting thing. I think that it is a kind of lichen, but I have no clue, to be honest. I am still debating what this thing is. Smells funny also, but it is really convincing stuff. You can cut it, you can do all kinds of cool stuff with it. You can pose it open, you can do anything you wish with it. So it is a cool product. Baggy comes in several colors. This one is most vivid green and dark green, and I have another one with the same stuff but dried in multiple beige tones. I have added just one over here just to depict a dry bush, because I wanted to have some to add some visual interest, and I want to depict something else than the hue of greens. So I have added this stuff. Over here I have faced a problem, because of the slope. So I was the bushes couldn't stick to the surface. They needed some support. So while I was at it, I grabbed some staples and almost pressed them to I almost stapled them. I don't know if this makes sense to you guys, but I have just added the staples to give them more stability and let the glue dry, so the bush will stay there. They are totally hidden, you cannot even see. I don't even have a clue where the staple is. And apart that, I have used a lot of different foliage, ground scatter. I have used this one, spring ground cover, and also just a tiny bit of dry posture, and just a tiny amount of summer ground. I've used these three. This one mainly. It's 90% this one, 7% this one, and almost 3% this one, if you can put it in percentage. Over here also I have used my usual bags of stuff, this one, and just a smidge of this thing. This thing, you can add it, it is like roots, but it also makes great things for scattered terrain, you know what I mean, for overgrown terrain. Sorry, my English aren't appropriate today, but anyway, I cannot think in English today. I am mainly thinking in Greek. So this one is done. I have also sprinkled some more dirt on top of it and stuff like that, just to depict it overgrown. So that's my work over here. I'm really happy with it, and probably I'm not gonna do anything more. Mainly add another bush, but I don't think so. I'm still debating it. So while I finished here, I moved on to our main road. So on our main road, what exactly is happening? What happened? Of course, over here at the edge, you will have no vehicle is passing, nothing is passing, so we will have some grass growing, and that's what I depicted. I'm gonna add 2 or 3 grass tufts as well, but I forgot to do it right now. Anyway, I'm gonna do it later. So this one is staying, this one is staying, this one, it is what it is, simple as that. It is spring ground cover only. And over here in the middle, as I've said, while vehicles are driving, they are passing, their road wheels are over here on this edge and this edge. So in the middle we're gonna have dry grass. So mostly this one, which is dry pasture. And over here at the other end, this is a kind of failed experiment. From the photo, I have another photo that I'm gonna pop onto the screen of somewhere here. We can see that over here we have some grass, some bushes, etc., etc. So I opted to try my new acquisition, which is none other than a static grass applicator. Now, this is the first time I use this thing. I have seen a couple of tutorials from guys. They make it seem, oh my god, they make it seem easy to use, but it is not so easy, if you ask me. Mainly, I think because probably my static grass was long enough. It is pretty long. I think that I need to go this one is about 5 to 6 millimeter of static grass. So I need to try with something smaller, something like 2 or 3 millimeter static grass. Anyway, I'm gonna buy that static grass and I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna keep toying with it until I master it. So this one is a failed experiment. I tried to use this one, but the strands of static grass were long, so it came out like this, which, to be honest with you guys, I am not so eager to how can I say it, I am not so eager to fix my mistake, because it is what it is now. it is stuck on there, okay, and I'm gonna make a mess. I am going to mess the rest of the dio, so I'm gonna leave it as it is. Either way, it's not so visible either. I wanna believe it's gonna stay there reminding me my failed experiments. So that's everything that I have done up to this point onto the base. Let me grab the bridge, add it so you can have a better look, so you can have a more complete look, and let's add the Panzer as well. No, I think, yeah, that's the position. And if you ask me, this is not so bad. Now, what I need to do right now, what my next steps are. My next steps will be to integrate the Panzer onto the base, because right now it is like the Panzer is floating. I hope that this camera angle shows that it is kind of floating, and for a vehicle of its weight it is not supposed to float, so I'm gonna add some more mud and sunk the vehicle onto the dio, and I am going, of course, to move to start working onto the bridge. I'm gonna give it some dirt texture, but I'm gonna paint it underneath. I'm gonna start painting it underneath, and I'm gonna give it some soil or dirt texture on top. So guys, welcome back to the Panzer diorama, Panzer 4 diorama. Short disclaimer here. It's been, I think, at least 3 weeks since this thing is sitting on my bench, just collecting dust and filling empty space, my workspace, I should say. And as I've said in my previous episode, parts for this diorama arrived. Before I start, I wanna thank Rob. Of course, and I'm not gonna try to pronounce his last name, because probably he's gonna come over here with a pitchfork and a torch and burn me down for obvious reasons. So I wanna thank Rob, because he provided me with the materials needed to finish this diorama. And I am really thankful to him. Rob, thank you, my friend. I am totally grateful. You are very kind, and you are the best. And you can see that I am not good at telling thank you to people. So that's my best effort. So as I've said, we are gonna return back to the Panzer Dio. What have we done while this was sitting on my bench and while I was working onto the Stug? Stug is going to the side right now. While I was working to the Stug, of course, I coated the sides of the diorama with a black acrylic paint, of course, and I have used a cheap acrylic set that I find in a local Chinese store. For the guys that they don't understand what is a local Chinese store, is like the dollar shop for Americans. I usually go over there and grab supplies, random stuff mainly. So they sell these acrylic paints, which I use for blocking out things like the wall, the ground, etc., etc. So this jar costs me about €1.90, and it has 75 ml, as you can see. It is pretty good for doing that stuff, but not for something else. Not for painting. I haven't found the right consistency, to dilute it so it can spread evenly. So, as I've said, I have painted the sides, and I have also done some work onto our overpass. What I have done over here, I have glued it in place. Don't mind this part here, I'm gonna do something with it. I have glued this in place. Oh my god, it is dusty. I have applied my not plaster, the wall filling compound, the wall putty on top of it. I have spreaded it evenly so I could close a gap over here that the two foam pieces created, and on top of it I have painted with another acrylic color from the Chinese store. This one says it is maroon, tobacco maroon. I call it brown because it is brown to my eyes. So I have already done this one, prepared this area, and what is our next plan over here? For the guys that they don't remember, we need to have train tracks. So Rob kindly send me those, which is a set of railway tracks from Dragon. They also come with, give me a second, the embankment, but I'm not gonna use this because, as you can see, it is pretty big for my case. So what are we going to do? What am I going to do? Of course, I am going to assemble one of these tracks off camera. I'm gonna measure. I'm gonna put it on top of my dio, measure and cut it to length where I need it to be cut, and then I'm gonna paint it and stick it in place, and on top of it apply the gravel, which in my case is going to be kitty litter. That's my plan for this one, for this area, for the time being. As you know, my plans always change. Now, let's return back to the Panzer. Now, I also need to prepare the side armor, because I have it sitting on another somewhere here in my bench. Needs to be painted and mud addition to add some mud on it. I will also need to paint the tank commander and the radio operator, and I will also have to assemble this set of figures, once again provided by Rob. So and all this need to be done consecutively in the right, as we go, not immediately. I cannot find the word anyway in the editing section. I'm gonna find the word out so I can explain you what I mean. Now, first things first, I'm gonna start working with the railway tracks, and we're gonna see how this goes. Now guys, if you haven't ever assembled a Dragon tracks kit, railway tracks kit, here is how you do it. Here is how you do it. Here is what I have found. In my case, I have measured and need almost a portion like this, like this size. I mean, this, if I am not mistaken, let me measure. is approximately 15 centimeters, okay? So I need 15 centimeters of tracks. I'm gonna use this as a jig, of course, and as a jig so I can measure the length between each block of wood. Mainly that's why I started using it. But if you build it, if you have something like this in your hands, you're gonna need the thing that I call a jig. Why, you're gonna ask? Over here on its indentation it has engraved a letter with a number, G6. This thing corresponds to its different block of wood. It has, as I've said, G6 and an arrow pointing, in this case, in that direction. So blocks of wood, and I'm talking about these, are separated in three categories: G6, which is the one I am holding, G2 and G7. You cannot clearly tell the difference. I cannot tell the difference at all between those three different parts, but since they are labeled with different numbers, there should be a difference. Now, this one as well is part G6, and if you look over here from in the inner side, you can see G6 and another arrow pointing that way. So this is going to help us to put the tracks together. So this goes like that. So and over here we have a G6 as well and an arrow pointing that way. So this one needs to go like so, in this direction. Let me make sure that everything is best fit in place where they should be. Maybe those two, and I'm talking about these ones, are too low. Okay. No. Now what am I going to do? I am going to start feeding the iron part of the tracks through, in this direction, like so, like the way I am trying to do it over here. Ooh, it's a little bit stiff. Okay, lucky me. Okay, one more. I am a little bit stupid. Let's do the other side. Of course, and I have seen that. I know that my roads need clean up over here, but I'm gonna take care of it later on. We need to make sure that. Oh no, my friend. This way. We need to make sure that our road is passing through its part as it's supposed to be. Okay. And now Of course I'm gonna pause the video, and I am going to try to get the blocks of wood out of my jig. So no, I'm gonna apply glue first, sorry. I am going to apply glue only on what is my pointer? Only on those spots over here where the block of wood is touching the railway iron. I'm gonna let it cure, and then I am going to try to remove the thing out of the jig. So this way we're gonna have even spacing amongst the wood blocks, and our railway, our tracks should be looking as they supposed to. And we are back, and as you can see, our railway track, not thingy, is in position. Nothing is glued yet. Initially I wanted to position it over here, but to be honest with you guys, I'm gonna need to convert. I'm gonna need to cut a lot of wood in angle, a lot of wood blocks in angle, and I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna use a whole lot of this stuff, because who knows, I may be needed in the future for another project. So I am opting to position it over here like so. And what am I going to do right now? I'm gonna try carefully to mark the spots that they are protruding out of the dio, so I can cut it, so I can remove them, so nothing will be protruding outside of our scene. And as you can see, guys, mission is a success. I have cutted our railway tracks on an angle, so nothing protrudes outside of our dio. I'm gonna also put a picture somewhere here on the screen so you can see what I have used. I have used a saw that is suited for iron, and that's why I find modeling funny. That's one of the reasons I find modeling funny, because you never know what kind of tool you're gonna need to use when you're building a diorama, especially dioramas, okay, for cars and tanks and etc. In individual, you're gonna need pretty basic stuff, but when it comes to dioramas, you never know. So what's my next plan of action? Of course, as I've said, I'm gonna tack this in place. I'm gonna use blue tack to fix it in position temporarily. I am going to apply my groundwork. Then I am gonna return back, pull that out, glue it permanently onto the dio, and then I am going to revisit the whole thing with kitty litter, so we can have a realistic looking railway track. Well, guys, tracks, as you can see, are painted, detail painted, and kinda weathered, and here is what I've done. Of course, I cleaned them, cut the edge in shape of the diorama, in angle. And of course you remember that because I've told that in the previous part of the video. So after that, what I have done, I have started with the steel parts. I have used black 70.950. I have then give it a good amount of dry brush with a neutral gray 70.992, and then I moved onto the wooden blocks, the wooden things, cannot remember the name there. What I did is to base coated them with Panzer Kpfw 310 old wood and give them a good and thorough dry brush with mahogany brown 70.846. And here is how they look. Let me give you a closer look. I believe, another thing that I forgot over here on the top, I have used 71065 steel, because this is the contact point with the wheels of a train. And now I believe that I am in a good position. What I mean by saying in a good position, now I believe that I can glue the tracks onto the diorama. I will use probably hot glue the tracks in place, and then I will sprinkle kitty litter. Now guys, as you can see, I have glued the tracks in place, and I have added the gravel. Gravel in this case is kitty litter, and I hope that my 3 cats don't come over and piss it overnight or do any funny things with it, hopefully. What I did, I did exactly what I've said in the previous part of the video. I have glued the tracks in place using hot glue, pressed the tracks firmly onto the surface because I don't want them to float. I want them to be integrated there. And after that I have painted some undiluted PVA on the bottom, and then I have sprinkled kitty litter all over the place. For the guys that use kitty litter, that they want to use kitty litter, be careful guys. Don't buy the clamping one, because this is gonna create the clamping one, when it comes to contact with anything liquid in liquid form, creates clamps, it clamps together and creates small balls, or it's going to be like a concrete but cracked one, like a thicker application of dust clay, to be honest with you. So be wary about that guys. Buy the litter that it is not the clamping type, and go for it. So this kitty litter is not a clamping type, as you can see. As I've said, I painted the surface with undiluted PVA. I sprinkled kitty litter all over the place, and then I have I have applied a few drops of diluted PVA with water and dishwashing liquid to help that to help the glue to help break the tension of the glue, to help the glue, apply even more evenly, if that made sense. So after that I have let it to dry for a while. I have let the glue to seep into any crevices, and I have applied another layer of kitty litter, and then another layer of diluted PVA, and that's what we are looking onto. Okay, I know that over here at the rear it needs a little bit more gravel, but I should have put a barrier to hold the gravel in place, but I have never thought about it, to be honest with you guys, and now I am not willing to do it. To be totally honest with you, this is a lesson learned for the next time that I'm gonna do another diorama like this. Anyway, what I am going to do next, I am debating to add some shrubs over here, some green stuff, because it is really plain looking, and I don't want to do that. I want to add some more visual interest on top of it. So probably I am going to add the same stuff as over here. Sorry for the wobbly mode. And then we are going to wrap this part all up and move onto the Panzer. Well guys, we left the Dio aside for a while so we can finalize our protagonist, which is none other than the Panzer IV. And as you can see, I have added the goodbye my friend. I have added the side armor plate, the additional side armor plates. I have painted them, weathered them, added mud onto them, and here is how they look. Of course, I have left one off from here, mainly because, let me show you if I can grab it right now. Oh, come on. So I have left one off mainly because I have lost the handle that it's holding it in place. So I'm gonna keep it in my spares box, we never know. And here is one side, and let me give you a look onto the other side. Here is the other side, of course, and I'm gonna add more mud. I'm gonna add some mud spatters and different colors of mud, but this is going to happen later on while I am painting the figures. And now let's talk about the figures a bit. So if you take a closer look at the photo that I'm trying to depict, you can see, the keen-eyed amongst you can see that the the tank riders have winter coats on them, so I needed to find figures that had winter coats. So this guy, which is provided with a kit, is not an option for me, so he is going onto my spares box because he has no winter coat onto him. So this guy is not an option, and it is such a pity because he is one of the best figures that this box offers you. Now, of course, I kept the radio operator and the commander. Let me give you a closer look of them. Here is the commander in spotted armor, in spotted camo, the ambush camo. That's how I am going to name this camo, and I am quite happy with him. Although I'm no figure painter, I think that I did a good job on him. Of course, he is missing his headphones, but I am going to add them later on. So let's put him back in place. Oops. And here is the radio operator. And he is relatively good as well. I am thinking that I am going to repaint their faces, not repaint them, retouch them, to be honest with you guys, because they came out a little bit darker. And now, for the tank riders, I of course once again wanna thank Rob, because he provided me with the figures. The two base colored figures come from a TriStar set. It is the kit with number 35056. It is German infantry resting. As you can see, is this guy who is taking a nap, and the other guy who is also taking a nap without his helmet. So this guy is gonna go here, mainly because that's the only spot I can stack him. I can put him, place him, you know what I mean. And I need to get into there. Okay. And the other guy is going to go, come on, over here. Just gonna rest his arm onto this side armor plate, and of course he's gonna rest his other arm onto his rifle. It's gonna be something like that, if you can imagine. So these are the two additional, and the other two are coming from a dragon set. This is the set number 6513. Once again is German infantry resting. These are superior figures, guys. One of the best figure sets I have ever seen. These guys are so detailed. So here is this guy, and here is the other guy. These two guys are talking, are having a friendly conversation, and they're gonna, the only place that I can fit them, mainly because of the side armor plates, are here in the back. One of them is gonna sit over here somewhere. Okay, and the other one is gonna sit over here. And that's the figures that I am going to add. Now what I need to do, another thing that I forgot to tell you, in order for me to fit this guy over here, because it was this how can I call it, this mounting point, I needed to do a surgery and cut his coat off, remove a portion of his coat from here, so he can wrap his legs around this mounting point. So keep an eye up on that if you are using the same figures, if you are trying to use the same figures. If you're willing to use the same figures. Oh my god, I cannot speak English today. So these are my figure choice. Looks we are close to completion, guys, and I am pretty happy. Here is the figures. I just changed the placement a little bit. Over here at the rear, those two are the dragon figures. Brilliant, totally brilliant stuff. One of the best figure sets that I have ever worked on. And over here, those two are the TriStar guys, the sleeping beauties, that are chilling up here in the front. And I need to reglue this weapon so it is convincing. Anyway, so And those two are the figures that come with the Border Panzer. I have to tell you that they are not so crisp and clean. They have not so well defined details like ears, or their suit is a little bit muddy, you know. They don't have that fine crisp look that this is a shirt. It has buttons on it, and it has details on it in difference with these two guys. These two guys almost painted themselves up. So what I need to do now, finally I will have to place the Panzer onto the Dio and integrate it. When I say integrate it, I mean I am talking about make the Panzer a part of the Dio, you know, stack it in mud right there, and make the whole thing one piece. Well guys, this is it. We finally finished with our Border Panzer build. I think that to be honest with you guys, I am really happy with the outcome. I have never expected that I would create something like this. It took me a while to do, I'm not gonna lie. I have passed through various stages that I thought that I wouldn't make it, but I am really happy with the outcome. So let me talk a little bit about the Panzer. It was a brilliant kit from Border, highly detailed. Things were falling in place as they should. You just need to be a little bit careful with cleanups, because stuff like the rear idler wheel hub need extra cleanup to be placed in proper position, so the idler wheel can be fitted also in there. So keep an eye about the excess plastic pieces. Has nothing to do with the kit detail. Kit detail was totally crisp. You just need to be extra careful with the cleanup. That's the only stuff that you need to be careful about. And you also need to, if you're taking this build seriously, more seriously than I, to be honest with you, you need to be careful about the figures. You need to change the figures, because I am not happy with them at all, to be honest with you guys. The most detailed figure is the MG gunner that is the original tank rider from the kit. That's the most detailed figure straight out of the box. But anyway, box isn't advertised for its figures. It is mainly advertised for the Panzer, and the Panzer, guys, is brilliant, I tell you. With some basic skills and work, you can have a gem in your hands. Basic skills, work, and also research if you are trying to replicate something. So before I go, no, let me rephrase that. So, what my thoughts about this build are: I would change a few stuff now that I've seen it, now that I've made it to the end. The stuff that I'm gonna mainly change is the foliage. It is a little bit uniform, but I am still trying to find a way to find the proper way to learn new stuff about foliage. So I am really happy with it, with the stage that I am right now. I would change that. I would probably add some more static grass. Okay, that could be done in the future. Of course, the thing that I would also change is my techniques on how to paint figures. I need to get better with it, and I would add something up here because this is a kinda empty void, but it is as it is. It is what it is. To be honest with you guys, I am really happy. I wanna thank Michael Cohen, Greg Riley. You all know him. If you don't know him, please go and check his channel out. Rob, because he provided me with a lot of stuff, mainly figures and tracks, etc., etc. Sin, because he provided me with a lot of knowledge on Panzers, and I want to thank all these guys because they guide me through the build and they helped me to move on to the next level, to improve myself. So that was everything that I wanted to say, and with all that said and done, we have made it to the end of this build. I hope that you guys found the series helpful, interesting, and stick along for the next project. Before I go, I wanna thank each and every one of you guys that watched these videos. A special thank you to my subscribers, old and new ones. You guys are the best and you are the reason I keep doing these videos. For the newcomers out there that encounter one of my videos for the first time, welcome guys. I hope that you like what I do. If so, you all know what to do. Leave a like, comment with your thoughts and opinions, share the video if you believe it deserves to be shared, or even consider subscribing for more builds to come your way. Until the next time, fellow modelers and friends, take care and model on. It was that Mofo Daemon, signing out.